Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Living in Hawaii. I am Misty Padilla. As you can see, I am on Hawaii Island, born and raised local girl here, and I have the privilege of having Sasha, Chelsea, and Patrick with me. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Let's
Good
go
morning.
ahead and start with Oahu, where looks like Patrick and Sasha are. Go ahead and share with me, Sasha. What is the weather like today?
It's actually a little overcast, but it's nice. We've been having some windy trade winds. Well, I'm on the southwest side, so we don't really have trade winds on this side, but we've been having some really nice wind lately, so it's been nice. Yeah.
How about for you, Patrick? Where are you at?
So I'm on the other end, over on the east end of the island, over in Hawaii Kai, part of Honolulu. And it's been very breezy over here, like stuff blowing over breezy. And then when I took the kiddo into school, into town today, it was pouring in like the Manoa Valley. It was coming down. So definitely some rain and some wind today.
Very nice, very nice. Here in Kona, as you know, Kilauea is going off. So of course we get all the fog on the Kona side. So it just looks a little foggy, gloomy. The sun is still out. If you head towards the Mocha area, we definitely experience the rain. But again, we love it. We need it. You know, all the elements that we get to embrace, we just really enjoy that. How about you, Chelsea? Share with us how Maui Island is doing.
Maui right now, this week especially, has been super cool, windy, and I am so grateful for that because our AC died on Monday, our house AC. So we have all the windows open. I'm like, okay, God provided us with wind and cool weather. Sun is out, but it's still cool enough for we don't need AC.
Very nice. And as we always say, lucky we live Hawaii no matter what, right?
Yes.
So
For
thank
sure.
you folks for joining me today. We're going to talk about, Hawaii has such a unique culture and hospitality. We're just a blend of all things. And I'm going to go ahead and just have you folks, share and speak into your experience on all the cultural differences, fun, all the activities, all the things that makes us truly special. And of course, when you think of Hawaii, the first thing to me that everyone always thinks about is the Aloha Spirit, right? You can't doubt that Aloha Spirit dwells deeply within each of us, or it should, right? We're spreading aloha daily as best as we can. But let's go ahead and talk about, all the different cultures and the experiences that you folks have, whether it's growing up here or if you have not been born and raised here, all the experiences that you have and that you just kind of embrace and just learn to just be a part of our island life here. And I'm going to go ahead and start with Sasha. Let's go ahead and start with our traditional types of celebrations and what to expect. Let's start off first with what the celebration is and then what to expect at this celebration. Go ahead and take it away, Sasha.
Well, here we have got celebrations for everything. Some that you will encounter would be like our first baby luaus, our graduation parties, celebrations of life. Those three major ones is where you'll see like massive crowds usually, and then smaller like housewarming stuff, retirement parties and things like that. But as far as Aloha Spirit, like you're gonna see that in all of our celebrations and our gatherings, which is something I'm really excited to be talking about today because we're going to share a little bit of like, what to expect and proper etiquette when you get there. And yeah, so I think to start it off, I'll start with like maybe first birthday luaus. And first birthday luaus are really important here and like just the biggest celebration to start somebody's life because traditionally and I think probably this is true in most places around the world is back in the day when we didn't have the best of healthcare and stuff, babies weren't living to be one. So if they made it to be one, it was like this huge thing. And so even to this day where we don't have infant mortality or anything, we still celebrate these birthdays as like one of the biggest. It's probably just as big as a wedding celebration, maybe even bigger sometimes, So when you get invited to a baby luau, you're going to have to greet everybody there.
Whether it's 100 or 1,000 people.
Yeah, you got to say hi to everybody. That's just part of etiquette. here we consider everybody family. And so if you're not saying hi to everybody, you're going to just be looked at like, who's that? Like, so just no be shame, even if it's like you're just saying hi, you don't have to hug and honey everybody, but you acknowledge everybody there, and you say, and especially your host and the birthday person, acknowledge your host, say hello, thank you for having you, and all that good stuff. It is traditional to bring something with you. Here in Hawaii, we have this thing where you don't come empty-handed, no matter what you're invited to. And our team is going to get to all of these celebrations. But for baby luaus, typically, bringing in a gift card or a birthday gift for the baby, a lei for mama and daddy, things like that. Don't gotta be big or nothing, but this is probably one of the parties you won't have to bring a potluck, but but just be aware, and yeah, have fun, participate. If they ask for you to come up and dance hula on stage, do it, because it's fun. Participate in games and eat. Don't be ashamed to eat. Let the babies and the elders eat first. Make their plates for them if you can. That's real big deal. If you get up and you start making your plate and the kids are waiting in line and the kupuna haven't done anything yet, you're going to be looked at funny, and you're going to get those looks. So don't do that. We're trying to help you be accepted and liked.
So true.
And re-invited back next time. So
you'll get lickings or pa'i, right? Is what our friends would always tell us.
Right. So always make sure the keiki and the elders eat first, and then go ahead. And then, watch. If everybody is going up for seconds, go ahead, no shame. But yeah. What do you guys think?
That was great, Sasha. You totally hit that on point, for all of us. I'm sure we can speak into that. And funny how you say, what was the part, or you said if they call you up to dance hula, like you just don't say no. That's just how our culture was growing up, is you don't say no. Someone asks you to help and you say no, like, no, you're going to get lickings. You're going to get pulled by your ear. Somebody calls you up to hula. You don't say no. If you don't know the hula, you best get your butt up, figure something out right now, and get your butt on stage.
Like, just smile and keep moving.
Right?
Just smiling. You might be asked to help serve food too.
Yes, and you do it. Of course, unless you're sick, but at the same time, yeah, you don't say no. You don't ask questions. You just do.
You just jump in, and that's how you become part of the family, and that's how we hanai you. That means adopt in Hawaiian. It's real. We're family oriented, and we adopt easily. So, you can become part of the family. So that means you have to help clean. You have to help watch babies. You're not
100%.
You gotta talk to our kupuna and hear their stories and all that stuff
over and over again, right?
Yes.
Chelsea, can you speak into that at all?
Well, yeah. So, baby luaus for sure. Both my sisters and brother had first baby luaus last year, a month apart, and so we were full for till the New Year's with the amount of food. So for sure, come hungry, because they have so much food. Like Sasha said, no need bring potluck. There's gonna be food and entertainment, like top of the line entertainment. You'll most likely have. And my sister's husband, he's a musician, so we had all the Hawaiian musicians there, all ready to just have a big paina for babies. So
that's so beautiful, and yes, that's totally how we do it. Here in Hawaii. I have a lot of children. For those of you who know or don't know, I birthed 6 children, and each one, they had to have big, first year paina or luau celebrations. And yeah, they come in, our parties are like by the thousands. It's crazy, And yes, it's very cost effective, but that's what you have family for, and you just hui together. But I swear these days, now you celebrate everything. You celebrate the first birthday, you celebrate preschool, you celebrate elementary, intermediate. I'm like, it's just never ending. And then graduation and wedding, and the list just goes on and on. Patrick, how about your experience? What would you like to share with us about that?
So I have yet to go to any baby first luau, so I actually have nothing to contribute to this. But just the parties in general, the one that resonated with me. So this is my second time living in Hawaii. The first time I was stationed here when my dad was stationed here in the military, and I actually got to graduate high school here. So that was my first go around. So I got to do the whole graduation party thing. So that was eye-opening for me, coming from out of state and being just dumped into the deep end of that, graduating high school and getting like drowned in leis and that everything with that. So that was like my first experience with the whole Hawaiian culture and big event party type stuff, was just the graduation parties. And it was just ridiculous. And then of course, you don't just go to your own, you go to everybody else's too. So it
costs a lot of money.
and it's a long weekend. It's not even one day. It's like,
it's a long summer.
Yeah, it really is. But yeah, and just I can remember like just barely being able to see over my leis. It's like up to my nose, and I'm like, thank goodness my allergies didn't kick in like crazy that day. But yeah, it's always fun to see the pictures of the graduates with the huge amount of leis around their neck. It's just awesome. So yeah, that's really been my primary experience with the whole Hawaiian events more than anything else.
That's beautiful. Patrick, may I ask, where did you graduate from?
Kalaheo, over on the windward side, over by Kailua.
Yes.
My mom graduated from Kalaheo.
Yeah, my dad was in the Marine Corps, and it was right out the back gate.
Right up the base, yeah.
So beautiful. I'm a graduate of Kamehameha Kapalama. So yes, we all experienced all the fun and joy of all these celebrations. Let's indeed talk about graduations as well. Just as you said, leis up to the top. Now people start to get creative, where I've seen they have lei stands, so that they put the leis on the stand so that the graduate can just take a picture with like one lei or lei po'o, or they have leis on their hands just so that you can see their face. So it's just so crazy how things have just, transformed, into whatever's trending, whatever it may be. But yes, graduations are truly, truly a blessing, because again, not everybody gets to graduate. So that's why, again, we celebrate your senior year graduation. Now I see 6th grade graduation, 7th grade graduation. It's bizarre. Do you experience the same, Sasha, where you folks are on Oahu?
Okay, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate, but I think graduations before 12th grade are dumb. I really do. I think it's such, why are we graduating from kindergarten and 1st grade and 2nd grade? And that's ridiculous. They didn't earn it yet. That's just what I think. But I know
we can celebrate. Celebrations,
we can celebrate, yes. But real clapping gowns for every grade. Come on. But I think graduation parties are one of my favorite things here, and graduation period in Hawaii is the best in the world.
Yes,
I would be so sad if I had to graduate in another state, because it's
boring.
Leis here, and lei po'o, and that's the one on our head. Okay, I had tons of those. We had armfuls, and my head, you only still could see my eyes, and my mom was holding leis, and when I got home, we went Project Grad that night. I came home the next day, and all of my leis were all over the house. It smelled so good. Oh my God. And then I'm wearing the maile to work for the next week, and it's just graduation is the bomb here.
It totally is. And I will always reflect back. Now I'm going to be dating myself. So my graduation party, we had whole icone, right? So that was we
did too.
And then now to just see them rekindle, and they're just still on fire. It just makes me so proud, that they are our island hometown band, and they played for my graduation, and now everybody wants them at their graduation. I'm we were the first that they played for in graduation. It was so cool. And then another big graduation. I mean, they're all amazing. But my husband and I, we used to do promotions for concert and events back in the day, maybe 10 years ago. And so we promoted a concert, and then he had his niece's graduation party at the same time. And then we surprised her with Baby Bash. So Baby Bash comes walking into her party and singing on stage. It was the coolest thing, right? Everybody from the concert played, she had Fiji, all the amazing groups that
Lucky
we pay
girl.
big money to have now, right? And they're still around. And I'm so grateful that we can still experience that. But I would
Yeah.
never experience that in the mainland, unless, of course, you have your ohana, like the ones that moved to Vegas, and they throw on these massive parties as well.
Yeah, we be
Patrick,
shipping lays up to the mainland for cousin Susan, Vegas, and
right.
Cali, and wherever.
It's so important. And yeah, Patrick, we got to get you. We're gonna get you to all these celebrations. We got a big team, and we're
You're
gonna
officially invited from now on. Just show up.
I'm
Don't
in.
even
family now.
Yeah, that makes me really sad that you haven't been to a luau yet. So
Not
We're
a
gonna
baby luau. I've been to luau, but just not baby luau. Not
Okay.
first year.
get you there. How about you, Chelsea? Same you can speak into for graduations as well?
Yeah, so that lay stand idea is a great idea. My second son, he graduates next year, so I might think about doing that. But for sure, graduations, and we did have for him a preschool graduation when he graduated from preschool, and then they did do a graduation from fifth grade to sixth grade because it's going from elementary to intermediate, and then of course the eighth to but what's cool about that is I can have those pictures for the slideshow for his real graduation from high school.
Yeah,
100%. And again, everywhere you go, anytime you get an invite, yes, take a makana, take a gift.
Yes.
Of course, graduation gifts, all the teenagers love money. That's always a thing. But now they get so like extravagant. They get a trip, they go here, they go there. And it's like, whoa, can we graduate again?
right.
Let's move on. Wedding celebrations, I'm sure we can speak into the same, right? Same situation with baby first luau as well as graduations. We also celebrate big for weddings. My first wedding, I had like 2,000 people at. And then my second wedding, we're just going small, intimate family. We did have a couple hundred, and then we just had a wedding in Las Vegas. So we changed it up a bit. But now all the family that didn't get to come to Las Vegas, they're like, you got to have one in Hawaii. I'm like, okay, here we go. Now we got to celebrate for that. So Patrick, you're going to be invited, okay, when we get to that point.
I'm there.
How about for you, ladies? Sasha, you can speak the same. Anything more on weddings that we may have missed? Let's talk about the food. What kind of food line can we expect at all of our celebrations?
All of it.
All the cultures, Filipino food,
Yeah,
food,
because the way we
Hawaiian
have the best
food,
food, man, you got
or-
every culture here, and we make it like localized. So you can expect Hawaiian food. Baby luau's, you're most likely gonna see our Hawaiian food buffet because it's tradition. But graduation parties and weddings and stuff, you're more likely to see, I think, probably like the barbecue, the kalbi, and the terry beef and the fish, and stuff like that. Yeah. What do you guys think? Like Filipino food?
Filipino food, the
100%.
pork and peas. I mean, if it's a Filipino family, for sure they're gonna have the whole pig there with the apple in the mouth.
I love it.
The best.
The best part is the crispy skin.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So awesome. Yes, we are so lucky to have that. And then, of course, speaking of food, these are things that take so long to prepare, from farm to table is really what
Yeah.
it is. And yes, you have the family that goes out to hunt. Then the family got to prep and cook, clean, do all the things. And then the family that serves, like it's a production, not to mention all the gathering of the lei, picking my lei. Oh my gosh, beautiful. Just absolutely beautiful. You haven't.
And centerpieces.
Right.
It's leis for guests.
Yes.
Like, you want to talk about production? Like, you have no idea when you're walking into a luau, whether it be baby graduation way, anything, you don't know how many hands. That's why when we always bless our food, we always open with prayer. Okay, pule is very, very big here. It's like the basis to all of our culture.
Thank you for sharing that. It is.
Yes. And when we say, please bless the hands who prepared this, we're talking hundreds of hands sometimes, like to prepare the lau, the kalua pig, like Misty just said, like we have brothers and cousins that go hunt. They come down. We got to make a imu. Do you know how much work that is? Like to wrap a lau takes so much time, and then the food gets
and then to cook it for hours.
And it cooks for hours. Like we're talking, like we're preparing food for like sometimes months or weeks before the event, we need to have big freezers to hold it. And then like we need to recruit our family to run the kitchen and serve the food and do cleanup. And so it's like, it is a major production on the back end. Yeah.
Not to mention the ocean side of it. You know, you have your ohana and all the cousins that got to go dive. Mind you, it's very risky.
Yeah.
You know, these things are so risky, and there's so much tragedy that also comes with this. So that when you do go to that paina and you are sitting down and you're partaking in all of that food, like think of all the many hands that it took to prepare all of this. And then it just makes the food taste even better, you know, because they got to dive for days, you know, and fish. It's a lot, but again, they give from the heart, and that's just the beauty of the culture.
Yeah,
girl, this is making me want to go have a party like right now.
I'm like getting chicken skin
party.
Like, you know, to go to the really good party.
Right, it helps to bring the families together. Yeah.
Oh my God.
See, we're all excited. We're all talking over each other because we're just so excited.
Who's graduating this year? Who's graduating this year?
But it also is part of the culture, like helps bring everybody together, not just to put a party, but you know, hey, let's go. Calling all your brothers, your cousins to go fishing. You know, go on the boat, go fishing, go catch fish, go diving. You know, go hunting together, go pick maile together. Like, it's all about, you know, getting together and just keeping those bonds that we have as a culture strong.
Creating like family memories too. You know.
Mm-hmm.
For
absolutely sure. Right. How about for you, Patrick? Are you feeling all of this? You're feeling the love? Anything else?
Absolutely. I'm feeling it in my stomach. I'm like feeling like I need to go get something to eat like right after this is over, because just the talk of all the food, I'm like, I think I need to go have some lunch.
I do. And then expect to gain like 10, 20 pounds after this, okay? Because they call it the kanak attack. It is legit. It is real. You know, the kanak.
Explain it. What is it, Misty?
What is that?
What is a kanak attack? Tell them.
Kanak attack is, yes, you go and you just indulge in all the goodness of this Hawaiian food, or of course, whatever food you desire. Now it's just the term that you use all the time. You just indulge, and then you go to sleep. Which is the absolute worst and unhealthiest thing you can ever do after you eat. But
you're allowed once a year at a graduation party. Yeah.
And then what's even better is you wake up and you go eat again.
Yep.
Because then you got leftover
for days. And then this is another thing too, is the party doesn't stop then. You have like the weeks, maybe months of preparation. So it's a constant party every day up until then. You party at the celebration, and then after the party, it carries on, whether it be at the same place or at somebody's house. And then the next day it carries on and it carries on. It really doesn't end, because by the time it ends, somebody else is having another party again.
Yep.
And that's just the beauty. That's just the beauty of, you know, our culture and our upbringing that I'm very, very proud of and I hold very dear to my heart. Let's go ahead and talk about, we've got like backyard celebrations. Patrick, tell me, have you been to any backyard celebrations yet?
I have. Actually, a kind of combination housewarming / backyard barbecues. I've been to a few of those, which is always great. You know, I brought my family to them, and then, you know, just show up with something to contribute. You know, just don't ever show up empty-handed. I think that we've covered that, you know, multiple times already, but that's just really the key. You know, it's definitely a potluck culture more than anything else. I actually just went to a barbecue recently where the wife is from the Philippines, and she had all these Philippine cultural dishes, some special types of fish that she made. Everything was just amazing. And then the husband, he's a brisket guy. So he's got his smoker out there and he's smoking meat, and everything was just amazing, you know, and I'm like, you know, what do you want to bring? They're like, just bring a dessert. I'm like, on it, you know? So I brought dessert, and we just, like you said, Kanak Attack, just sat and ate and ate and ate. It just, yeah, it was crazy.
Another thing we'd like to touch on too is, yes, we love and appreciate anything that you bring and contribute. However, it makes it even extra special when you make it, as opposed to being store bought. I know it's convenient, we all get it, but when you make, you know, that special dish, and when you go to the home and you're like, oh, did Auntie make this? Or whose kalua pig is that? whose squid luau is that? Like, you know which ohana makes the best of the best. And then when you find out whose recipe it is, then they're like, okay, we're taking more home. Like, it's so amazing. Like, you know, especially here on our island, we know if auntie or uncle, made this dish, it's going to be amazing. So I just love that. Can you share and speak into the same experience, Chelsea?
Yes, for sure. We all know whose dish is whose. Even if you don't tell us, oh, this is Auntie's pork cheese.
You can tell the junk ones too.
Luau. Yeah,
that's why you always gotta make sure it's
by
good,
the way,
right?
The lau lau is wrapped. We know, oh, that's Prada's lau lau.
Yeah.
So true. Just like what Sasha said, they can tell the junk ones too. So you're going to be talked about forever if you take a bad dish to a party. But now these days, they'll just put you on blast. So crazy. This is so fun, you guys.
And just fair warning, if you bring something good, you're going to be expected to keep bringing that to all the parties, because you're going to get known for your dish, and you'll be like, you're the one that brings this and that, and that's what you'll be like. That's your menu now. So we make it easy.
That is so true. We're planning actually my grandpa's 90th birthday this year.
Wow.
And all the cousins on the text thread, and of course it's okay, this cousin, you guys make the best haupia. That's what they're bringing.
So awesome. And then you have family secrets, right? You don't want to give out your recipe, so now like you have to do it. Right? You just have to do it. And then to another one that I wanted to touch on is when we have celebrations of life and funerals. Like, it's not funerals anymore, it's celebrations of life. And that indeed is still another production. It's huge. And that's probably the most time where I think most families come together, because you haven't seen each other for so long. You end up seeing everyone at, again, a celebration of life. And again, always don't forget, take a makana, be a blessing. You're blessed to be a blessing. And then another one we wanted to touch on when Patrick was sharing about the house parties is take your shoes off when you go into the house, right? Isn't that huge? Take it away from stuff.
Okay, I wanted to touch on that specifically, okay? So you got to take your shoes off in our house, okay? But if you are the type of person where you just really don't want to take them off and you want to be rude about it, no, I'm just kidding. We got like these
shoe covers.
Buy some shoe covers and
or shower cap.
Shower cap. You show up with your own shoe covers and you're like, I'm so sorry, I really can't take it off, because I got friends who they got foot problems and can't take their shoes off, right? Bring a shoe cover. You can put it on and walk into somebody's house and they'll be like, okay, they're cool. You know what I mean? If you brought this to my house, I'd be like, you're freaking awesome. Like, thank you so much for having consideration and not dragging the world into my home. This is just a cultural thing. If you go visit Iolani Palace, you get to put these on too. So you got to walk around our palace with our royalty in these. You can come to our house with this too. And they won't be provided by us either, okay? So if you know ahead of time that you don't like to take your shoes off, or maybe they stink or something like that, we can't help it. Buy some. You can get this on Amazon for like $100 for like a few dollars. So I carry these because of work, but this is something that you might want to consider. Okay.
That is amazing.
And if you take your shoes off, don't leave with somebody else's when you go, okay?
I was just going to say that. Yeah. Don't leave with better shoes. That's the thing. You show up with your rubber slippers from Walmart, right? And then you leave with like Crocs.
Or Scots or something.
Yeah.
Come with locals, you leave with Scots.
Thank you. Yes, the local slippers. And then you find them at the next party. You're like, that's my slipper.
Steal them back.
Crazy.
That's why my kid puts those gibbets on his Crocs all the time, so nobody confuses his with theirs.
It's just wild, and that to me is a sign when you have an abundant home full of joy, love, and health. That's when you see tons of slippers right at the doorstep. Not nice. I have OCD. I'm like, put your slippers in alignment, pair side by side, make it nice. So when you come out, you just slip your feet in. But no, when you see it all right like that in front of the door, like that, just it totally warms my heart. And that is just a true sign of love, health, and
You're at the
happiness
right
in your
place.
home.
Yeah. If you come to a door and it's got that, you're like, oh man, this is gonna be
Right.
good.
It's gonna be a good party.
Yeah.
Let's talk about culture celebrations, although we've just experienced all the many that we just laid out. Let's talk about like key ones, starting maybe with the first of the year, from New Year's throughout the year, talking Kamehameha Day, all the things that we celebrate. Patrick, what did you celebrate starting with New Year's? Have you done anything culturally that we've talked about so far?
So main one for me is Chinese New Year. So my wife is Chinese. So we're heavy into Chinese New Year. I've actually been to China a couple times during Chinese New Year, which was insane, off the hook. I mean, fireworks were just ridiculous. People just wheeling them out into the street and just shooting off. We were staying in like a condo on like the 20th floor, and they're like exploding right in front of our lanai. I was just like, holy cow.
So cool.
It's just bonkers. I got videos on my phone. So yeah. And then of course there's the traditional foods. You have to eat things in certain orders on certain days. And so following the whole Chinese New Year traditions and things like that. And then of course, depending on what your horoscope is, your animal, if it's your year, the things that you have to do to make it a fortuitous year for yourself. So all of that I've been wrapped up in for many years, even before coming to Hawaii. But then seeing the celebrations here, my son, he goes to Chinese school every Saturday. And so he's really involved in that stuff. And even at his school, they have like the lion dancers come for that. And so it's just so much fun.
That is so cool. I'm dragon. Do you folks know what your animal is?
I am a boar.
Oh my God.
How about you, Chelsea?
I'm not sure what mine is. I gotta go look it up now.
I love it. Absolutely love that. And yes, New Year's in Hawaii, speaking of Chinese New Year and local New Year's, that's the same thing we experience. Although illegal, you can all say and speak to it that yes, it's beautiful, providing that there's no injuries, unfortunate. But yes, we do experience all of those things in Hawaii as well. One that I want to throw out is, of course, Kamehameha Day. That's in June 11th, usually, right? Kamehameha Day is such a big celebration in Hawaii. Sadly, I've seen it they've downscale and downsize, whether it's due to financing, budgeting, staffing, you name it, all the resources. But I grew up with that. My mom rode King Kamehameha Day Parade every year. She was Pa'u Princess for all the islands and Pa'u Queen and all the beautiful things that I just love. You have the food, the people, the lei. Oh my gosh, it's just such a beautiful cultural experience. So if there's anyone that have not been able to participate in the King Kamehameha Day Parade, whether you're a guest or you're a participant in the parade, please take time to do so. Honor the king, honor the people, and it is such a beautiful experience. And it's statewide. So Hawaii Island, Maui, Oahu, look into it. There has to be your maybe Big Island Visitors Bureau. Look into all these things, look at the calendars, and take time to go ahead and experience that. Chelsea, you want to share any cultural throughout the year, if you want to share any events?
I think for us, New Year's is a big thing that we do celebrate, of course, with the fireworks and everything, but again with the food, and we all gather over at my cousin's house, and it's been that tradition for I don't know how, over 10 years. I'd say it's always been the tradition to go over at my cousin's house. The whole family gets over, we all bring food, and we all stay up till 1:00, and then in the morning the parents are cleaning up the driveway, and then we go do something. Like this past year we went to the volcano because it was active at that time, so that's what we did.
Best firework ever.
Yes, it was the best firework ever.
How about you, Sasha? Share with us throughout the year what celebrations are your favorite, besides the ones we already talked about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, but New Year's here is just spectacular. I mean, it kicks off everything. It's my favorite holiday. And then Chinese New Year, they just keep the party going a little while longer, into February. Kamehameha Day is one of our really cool celebrations because the parades and Misty, you were mentioning the Pa'u riders. So if you don't know what that is, that's our horse, like how do you call it? Like our
Thank you for elaborating that.
yeah, so it's our horse. Misty,
Women or men. Yeah, you're right. You're on the right track. Women or men on horseback, and that is a representation, of culture. That's how the olden days were. You were elegantly placed on horseback, and that's how you would just stroll along and go to the store or go to a party. Like,
that's one of the coolest parts. That's one of the coolest parts of that parade, because that's not something that you see everywhere, and all of the islands are represented by the Pa'u teams. And so like you'll see all the like the red for Hawaii Island and pink for Maui, and like all the different colors and the different flowers that they use for all the riders. And it's just like that's another big thing that
another production.
It's another production for sure. But to be honest, like one of my favorite holidays is like Thanksgiving, and like all the American holidays that sort of made their way here. Like once we hit Thanksgiving, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, like
all the things.
Block of time, holiday season here is good fun because we don't have to worry about bad weather and snow. We're just like at the beach all the time and still being able to have our gatherings. But like our Thanksgiving is like they're like mini graduation parties and stuff. Like it's just
less the lay.
Yeah, minus well, you can have lays if you want to, but yeah, you end up laid out on the couch. But
another Kanak attack.
Kanak attack.
So true. Through this all, what I just always gather, that is so dear to my heart is there's always something to celebrate. It doesn't have to be a graduation because regardless, there's always something. You can be done with one season and then boom, something else comes up. And yes, I'm sure at times, it is very overwhelming. It's draining. It's hard work. It's tiring having to go here and there. And it's also very, very costly. But the beauty of this is we just embrace it because you know what? God only gave us one life to live. We're either going to live it or we're not. And if we don't live full, we can't go back and say, oh, I wish I went to that graduation party, or I wish I did this to my kupuna. I wish I did that. Life is too short, and we just got to make the best of it. Can you agree with me there? Right?
Agreed.
Sure. So whose party are we going to next? Because we're not missing out.
Kind of think like, do I have any coming up?
It's like already March, so yeah, it would be graduation.
Yeah, graduation's coming up.
Mine
doesn't graduate until next year, so
yeah, my youngest is in 4th grade, so he gets his 5th grade graduation next year.
Mine's getting a 6th grade one this year.
Mine's only coming out a 2nd, so she ain't getting no cap and gown.
My daughter's graduating from preschool this year.
There you go.
To celebrate.
Party.
Love it. Well, thank you, folks. Let's go ahead and wrap it up with our last closing thoughts. I'm going to start with Patrick. Anything you want to share to everyone tuning in to Living in Hawaii? What are your last closing thoughts that you'd like to share with us?
Really just, when it comes to any of these events, just have fun, enjoy yourself, and just, like Sasha said early on, just say hi to everybody, and just become part of the family. That's really the main thing. Everybody's going to become auntie and uncle, everybody's going to become cousin, and that's just the way it rolls.
Very, very true. I tell my kids that all the time. I tell my boys, all the pretty girls are all your cousins. You guys are all not allowed to date. Like we have to check. We literally have to check the genealogy before you start to make sure you're not related.
We do. Like growing up, so we're going a little off subject, but growing up, that was kind of the thing. Like you can't date any Hawaiian because they might be your cousin. And it's like, but I like them. No. We have to go home and ask mom and dad, like who. So that's why that's another thing. When you go to any of these parties, people are going to be niele. We call it niele, means they're being a little bit nosy. They're going to ask you where you're from, who your family is, and family names and all that stuff, because we need to know if you're related and how. And that's just part of it.
So
And when they ask what school you're from, they want to know your high school, not your college.
yeah, 100%.
Oh, is that a thing?
100.
I thought, what else would you be asking about?
Yeah, because we don't go to college, you know.
No, because everybody, because of where you're from, on what part of the island, people
It's stats.
rate it to the high school.
All the
You know?
statistics.
Alumni are a big thing here.
And so the fact that I actually graduated high school here is like huge for me. You know, that's
yeah.
You're in there.
I'm in. And
You're
I'm like,
in there.
hey, I'm a Kalaheo grad. And they're like, oh, you're one of those guys. I'm like, yeah, I am.
You can't tell me that when you say what school you graduate from, like you get the eyes like, oh, you're one of them. Or like, yes, it's a thing. Yes, they get racial about it, but it's all in love and fun. You know, don't get offended, right? Don't take offense.
Never do.
So awesome. How about you, Chelsea? What are your last thoughts as we wrap it up here?
Yes. So totally. Just going back to where we first started talking about the Aloha Spirit, you know, all of these celebrations, we always bring Aloha Spirit, and not just because it's in our hearts and in our souls, but Aloha Spirit is actually a Hawaii law. So it's chapter 5.
Totally is.
And point 5, Aloha Spirit. It's the law. So do it. Be it and share it.
I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me. That was that's truth. Yeah.
So true. Thank you. That is huge. You have to come with aloha. I'll go ahead and let you finish off there, Sasha.
Don't be afraid to help clean up before you leave. Dump your plate. You know what I mean? Help, offer a hand to help, tidy up a little bit. It won't hurt you, and it will add, you'll be pulling at heartstrings for whoever the host is when you do that. So yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. I echo everything that you folks said. And yes, aloha living everywhere you go. Thank you for tuning in. Go ahead and visit livinginhawaii.com. Signing off, Misty, Sasha, Chelsea, and Patrick. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everybody.